Hello guys, are you there? Can't see anyone online. This is just a test, by the way. If you have any quick questions, you can do it in 10-15 minutes. Okay, let's see how we can share this. मोदी चालीसा सुनाओ यार कोई. Hey bro, can you hear me? You can ask a question also. I think we've kind of figured out mostly how it is to be done. Yeah, man. You know, I'm just going to head back to Lhasa after this, and maybe cast some ancient Tibetan spells to get Modi ji, 4 or 5 more terms. Acha, pehle, Abhay, can you just tell me what I say? The word I say right now, can you just quickly type it? Horse. Go, 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 go. Okay, guys, you needed someone to do that to just kind of know that there's not much delay or something. I think there might be a bit of delay happening, but fuck it, can't help it. Is BJP really serious about? No, dude, no party is serious about Hindu Rashtra. What? हिंदू राष्ट्र क्या हिंदू राष्ट्र होता है भाई किसी को पता ही नहीं है मतलब ask anyone ask any party actually send their official email IDs tag them no one in this fucking country knows what Hindu Rashtra is dude. Okay, anime profile picture, yeah, I'm a bit scared of you guys but okay because my all my friends the anime the ones I know in real life who are into anime too much they're a bit too degenerate. Hmm. Hello, anyone has any questions? Yeah, Bear. So I don't know what you want me to repeat again, but basically I was saying that no one is serious about Hindu Rashtra. It's just a meme to throw around. Or just a check that. Oh fuck! I forgot to send it to the Telegram audience. God damn it! Fuck Twitter वालों को नहीं बताया. Hello, Approach. What's your question? Do you have a question? By the way, you guys can answer more questions later on also. This is just for like 10-15 minutes. When can we? Oh, my man, Rahul Vinci. Sir, you are the boss. Fucking Tejasvi Surya plus 10 IQ points and fucking much, yeah, I guess much better taste in a lot of things. Rahul, so we can, I don't know, dude. No one knows depends also what you mean state collapse. Like some people in this country, like same DNA type of people, guess at this point they'll be pretty happy if Parliament is having compulsory 5 times namaz. Sharia is getting incorporated into the constitution. For me, that is state collapse. Like that means the state is fucking gone. For them, it might mean new Hindu Rashtra, same DNA wala Hindu Rashtra. Hmm. What is Hindu Rashtra according to me? That's a complicated question. I've thought about it, obviously. Do you think we need to start critiquing Enlightenment values? See, all of this is, again, it is, we've not even reached till these places, like, see, what the things you're talking about, I'm not saying they're not important, right? Like, this also requires a lot of work. It's like, you're from a civilization which has just invented the wheel, and you're saying कि वो मर्सिडीज वाले के साथ कुछ compete करने के लिए बनाते हैं, right? No, you need to invent the, maybe the, I don't know, bullock cart, or like a, maybe then chariot, then you go to, like, you proceed like that, right? So we are at the, like, very bottom right now. We can't uh, you can't have a movement. Like, imagine a country, imagine a people, like, which is so deracinated that you can literally have the government, which supposedly does have the backing of these Hindus, scared to piss off 2, 3, 4, 5% of the population, the entire farmers protest thing. But that is the absent, that is the amount of state control which is there, right? And then, so apart from state control, then obviously, like, in this situation, the state also had the backing of the silent majority of the Hindus. But those 80% aren't really, uh, I guess, organized in in that sense, right? And I mean, I can understand, like, why people wouldn't give a shit about, like, I wouldn't go there to fucking fight Khalistanis for Bhajpa. I'm not going to do that. Yeah, send your cops, and I don't know, send your goddamn peacock caretakers. So just to kind of briefly just touch upon these things, though. See, the thing is, at a very fundamental level, Hindu Rashtra would mean that the state in India recognizes Hinduism as a state religion, right? और मतलब वो भी ऐसे ऐसे कोई बकचोदी में नहीं, मतलब it literally means at least something की, right? कि the state will try to make sure कि that the the most important, let's say, religious texts of Hinduism, they are being preserved, and they are available, let's say, to the general public quite easily. uh, then you try to make sure that, let's say, the Hindus, right, in some areas, they have first right over certain types of positions. जैसे मलेशिया में they have this concept of भूमिपुत्र, so something like that. जैसे मलय वहाँ पे भूमिपुत्र होते हैं, तो हिंदू यहाँ भूमिपुत्र का उससे they should get some special advantage. I'm not saying they should necessarily have some overwhelming advantages over everyone else, but they should essentially be treated as the core of the nation. एक कि हिंदू माइनॉरिटी में, तो नेशन नहीं बचेगा, मतलब ये स्टेट को अंडरस्टैंडिंग होनी चाहिए. So these are like some very fundamental things in my opinion. Like, apart from that, see, then the thing is, then it gets a bit murky, because then there are people who kind of have uh different views regarding this, in the sense, some people are there who think that we might be able to do something like go back to some golden era in the third century. That stuff, it just can't happen now, right? What See, the thing is, even I want a lot of things from orthodoxy back, which I think were really much better, as a way of doing things, and uh, compared to the the mass Western modern systems we've adopted. But again, then, like, certain things, once they've moved beyond a point, it is just too difficult to move the clock back. Okay, yeah. So see the thing. So now the thing is, okay. So he specifically asked me about the Hindu Rashtra question. That's why I specifically answered this. Like, see, honestly, I do not care. Like, as long as your caste is not relying on gifts from my caste, I don't give a shit. You do whatever the fuck you want, right? Okay. I won't discriminate against you. I'll just chill the fuck out. You stay away from me. I'll stay away from you, right? Problem comes when I make, let's say, 50,000 rupees, the government takes, let's say, in a lot of different taxes, 20,000 rupees, and 10, 15,000 is going to you, and you're not fucking doing anything. You're sitting on your ass at home, and trying operation and depression, right? That is the basic crux of what people don't like, right? And on top of that, you're coming to my house one day drunk and trying to rob it. When I say you can't take my things, then you're like, नहीं नहीं तुमने मेरे को ये बोल दिया, casteist slur बोल दिया मैं, and then I get taken to prison. So that is, those are the things which really irk people. Just to give like a very simple example, apart from that, I don't really care, like, if my just to say, like, in the sense, let's say, if my pizza is being delivered by Sonu Yadav, Sonu Mishra, Sonu Tomar, Sonu Mandal, it doesn't matter to me, right? That's like with most things, like almost like everything, right? The problem essentially is, see, and this is what doesn't get discussed a lot, that you have such fundamental differences between the castes now, in the sense, you will not have, like, by default, all your high society areas where all the chartered accountants and all the corporate lawyers, partners in law firms, your this municipality ke senior officials, all these people, the areas that will be living in, they will always become by whatever, no discrimination, also 80-90% they will become servant. It is that because that is because of a certain biological reality, right? If you are if Tibetans are selected to live at that altitude for 4,000, 6,000 years, whatever, you take you take a very smart individual who is a Brahmin from Telangana or Tamil Nadu or something, and you put him next to that. Obviously, the Tibetan will do 100 times better in climbing a mountain, or like breathing that air. And then if you take those same two people in and you put them in a competition to memorize, let's say, memorize a certain text and language both of them don't know, right? And you give them the tools to learn the alphabet and whatnot. That task, which is more memory intensive, more cognition intensive, would probably be done, obviously much higher by the Brahmin, right? Because obviously he's been positively selected for that, and the Tibetan has been positively selected for different traits. So yeah, so and that is the fundamental problem, right? Like, I'm not saying, see, every single person who is using reservation is dumb or something like that, but the issue is that the how can Rajputs counter Brahmin? I don't know, man. How we are clearly going bankrupt. This is a very complicated thing, dude. See, I think is, and personally also, I'm also generally not the very like the best person to ask about, especially Rajput issues, because the place where I come from, people are not very generally very well aware about these things. Like in the plains areas, the caste distinction is like the distinction, right? There, that's not the. I mean, it is there. Obviously, it is there, but like I know much more about the distinction between a Jaunsari and a Gadwali and a Gadwali and a Kondh than I know the distinction between a Rajput and a Brahmin, or a Rajput and a Khatri. So that is just how it is, right? I'm not the best person to ask these questions, but I think in general, like from what I've seen with people, I think one major issue seems to be an attachment to fixed assets. I think वो थोड़ा कम करना चाहिए. मतलब like obviously land and all, because yeah, generally like Rajputs, like most families tend to at least have a decent enough amount of inheritance that they will never have to really, मतलब बत्तर से बत्तर हाल हो गया तो they'll never have to ask anyone for money to at least have basic survival needs met, right? Even if no one is working. But the thing, I mean, obviously it doesn't turn out like that in reality. In reality, what tends to happen is a lot of people end up thinking, okay, I have the land support, तो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा क्या ही होगा, if I drop out of college, just sell this biga there, this biga there, buy this vehicle, and drink for a couple of years, and then फिर बाद में देख. So see that, and I'm not saying obviously that happens in a lot of communities, uh, but yeah, dude, like unfortunately, I think with Rajputs, it is these kind of problems are still there. Uh, Especially because I think compared to other Savan communities, they're the most closely connected to the land, right? So these kind of problems where the youth is getting into fucking stupid shit because of too much like confidence in that land, parents need to like put a check on that. So that is, I think, yeah, like you need to like make sure that the kids get that thing right, that we are not living in a feudal thing anymore. Land is there, good, it will be useful one day, but the primary thing is the I have to know technology. I have to know that this is the information world, and this is the world of capital. Like those things, right? You need to come out of the mindset that मैं इतने बीघा के वो जमींदार हूँ और मैं वो और आगे उतने बीघा कर दूंगा तो वो हो जाए, मतलब because that system of economic value is done, right? Like obviously you do have that asset. If you're lucky, let's say some highway or some big thing gets built next to your place, then brilliant for you, dude. You have so many places in Noida, Haryana wali side. Many people, Jats, Rajputs, Gujjars, Brahmins, but many of them have become multimillionaires overnight. Brilliant for them. I have no issues. Uh, but yeah, that's the problem, right? Like for most people, that's not going to happen first of all. And the thing is, again, that is not sustainable, right? Because you're not building those skills which will last you, right? Imagine you're coming from a family which is okay, ठीक है, landed वगैरह है, but they are not able to understand that the businesses, let's say, and the agriculture they've relied upon earlier, now they're facing in that particular category competition from tech giants, right, which are based in Bangalore or which are based in the Silicon Valley. अब वही चीज जो let's say they were running a supermarket type of thing, मतलब बेसिक काफी बेसिक टाइप बिजनेस अपने जमीन के उसमें खड़ा करके, एंड वो अच्छा चलता था उस एरिया में, मतलब स्मॉल टाउन और समथिंग. But then you have your GeoMart and Swiggy delivery and this and that, DMart coming in. Obviously they'll kill you at, like, yeah, and then you don't have that business anymore, right? Your biggest asset suddenly might become your biggest liability. You might even lose everything, right? So this is I think the problem with a lot of I think Rajputs in I mean, like, not the majority, I think, but yeah, it does pose a pretty intense challenge. And this I think is specifically more true for Rajputs in the plains, because in the hills it's a very different dynamic, because generally the ancestral lands and all also which people have not worth much, so people have generally had that thing from before only कि मतलब काम करना पड़ेगा, मतलब कोई choice नहीं है ऐसे. Like there's nothing really to fall back on, like you can get screwed if you screw around fuck around too much. So yeah, why equality is something desire. Nahin, equality is not. See, the thing is, okay, I'll tell you the thing about equality is, see, dude, so think about your self-interest. Do I give a shit if like the shopkeeper selling Lux Cozy ka wo is equal to me? Nahin, I don't give a fuck. Screw him. वो भी यही सोचता है भाई कि मतलब screw this guy, this online content creator slash field lawyer, like whatever this guy is. Screw this, coming from different class, different caste, different community. I have nothing to do with him. That's how, like, people generally think. Like, why would I care? I care because the problem is, beyond a certain point, if there is that equality doesn't exist, right? What can happen is that I might get pushed into a certain class which does not have access to any opportunity, right? Or on and all opportunities getting hogged by, let's say, the top 5%, the top let's say pure elites, matlab bilkul 0.5, 0.1%. So the thing is and actually the most important thing is that you want to make sure that inequality doesn't become too bad, because inequality is one of the primary drivers of social unrest, right? Especially amongst men. Like this is again, this is a Peterson thing. Jordan Peterson like was one of the most prominent people to point out, but this is like quite true. Like men become very homicidal when they see that inequality has become very prominent in that society, and it's become very difficult to rise up the status hierarchy. And the like it's become very immobile, right? So similarly in India also, like would it really matter that okay, India, you are getting richer, richer, richer every year? The people in the shanties near your gated society, they are okay. Let's say not necessarily getting poorer, but they are remaining stagnant. And obviously, then the gap between you and them is rising, rising, rising. And then there's certain things which they just get priced out of. They start getting priced out of schools, because those are things which uh, you know essentially will depend on that class distribution a lot. So they start getting priced out of that. Obviously, they start getting priced out of real estate. Though although in technical terms, their incomes have not declined as such. So essentially, you end up with a situation where this guy is like, okay. And the thing is, okay, and the other thing is, let's say this is a pretty interesting thing. Like, let's say with women, right? Women get absorbed to the top. Like, women marry what's it called, horizontally and upwards in the status hierarchy. You'll generally see that just to give a very simple example, अगर नर्स है, ठीक है, मतलब आई डोंट नीड ऑफ इट, जस्ट एज एन एग्जांपल, नर्स है, लाइब्रेरियन है, ठीक है, तो मतलब उसकी प्रेफरेंस होगी मैं किसी और नर्स या लाइब्रेरियन से शादी नहीं करूँ, डॉक्टर से शादी कर लूँ या किसी राइटर से शादी कर लूँ इंस्टेड ऑफ, राइट? So that similarly, yeah, teacher would want that maybe my husband should be a senior teacher or like a professor or the principal. You wouldn't really want at the same level. Matlab, that's like the worst case. ठीक है, उसके लिए मतलब I'll settle if nothing else. Guys, it's not like that, guys. It's kind of generally the opposite. That okay, fine, I want an earning wife, but not earning like 2-3 times me. Okay, 50-60%, 70% of income, that's good enough. Yeah, we'll stop there. So that's how the two sexes operate. So basically what is happening is the men keep marrying downwards, right? So if there is a shortage overall in the demographic cohort of available women for marriage or for settling down or whatever, and that is something which is eventually going to be like a big bomb dropping on like a large section of the male population. So who's it going to be, right? Like in a scenario which is not too complicated, it's basically going to be the bottom 10, 20, 30% of the men. And at least these men who then start getting into these things, that rebel groups and drug cartels, and like that, this is the kind of thing which starts happening in those countries, right? Even China has had histories of like in some areas there's a famine, like all the people like, oh, screw the daughters, let's like basically your हरियाणवी ताव वाला वो. And okay, ठीक है, फैमिली में तो निकल गया. आफ्टर 10-15 years you realize कि अच्छा अब तो यहाँ पे for every 100 guys who want to get married, there are only 60 girls. तो बाकी 40 क्या करेंगे? Nothing. No one has a plan. So those 40 guys are just roaming around doing nothing. And then one of them gets too frustrated one day, decides that fuck it, I'm getting visions from heaven. And yeah, all you guys, you don't have wives anyway. Just come with me. We'll fuck shit up. And yeah, he goes around. He proclaims himself, ki, I'm the real emperor. This is my army of incels. We'll go around raping millions of women, taking all your livestock and your riches and everything. We'll kill all those traders and mandarins and whatever, right? And it's just such a common thing which keeps on happening, historically. And again, that's another thing which also like inherently with Islam also causes instability, right? Instability in the sense like it pushes. a very intense degree of aggression outwards, right? Because even like, let's say if you look at a lot of these Arab countries, so at one point of time, I think in Syria and I think Afghanistan also, I think Saudi Arabia and Iraq, I think Iraq in Syria, but not before that. Yeah. So why do you think a place like Iraq would be providing the maximum number of suicide bombers, with men willing to die in a different, okay, fine, it's an adjoined very similar war, Saudi Arabia, right? Why were young men from Saudi Arabia who probably can't even speak any word in a language in Afghanistan, and have never seen that place, why were they wanting to go there and blow themselves up, and those kind of things. And in fact, very interestingly, during this is uh, like one story I remember reading, that in fact the Saudi men were traveling to become Mujahideen volunteers in the Soviet war or Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in such large numbers. And like the most, I think one of the most popular choices was to become the suicide bomber and not be like the normal guy with the gun. So the they had like this thing, like shuck, the fuck is happening, bro? Yeah, so they had like a waiting list. Okay, so because there were so many people who wanted to become suicide bombers from Saudi Arabia, they had to create like a waiting list कि भाई थोड़ा रुक जाओ, इतना भी नहीं है अपने पास system यहाँ पे ready. And apparently there were people who were so eager to become suicide bombers. They're like कि, Habibi, what you do is you put me ahead of the queue. I'll give you, 10,000, $20,000. And that is such an absurd thing. Like the kind of culture that we come from, people would never do that, right? And one thing which I think is like, obviously Islam also is a very different religion and it has this entire 72 virgins and whatnot. But I think another very primal thing is that if all the, let's say, the rich old dudes are taking two wives, three wives, four wives, and a lot of these younger guys, they're not getting the opportunity to make that money, and they're waiting till they're 25, 30, 35, not getting a wife, and whatever, right? And facing those so that social embarrassment, and obviously frustration, lack of status and all. Guys, I guess mind is also like, fuck it, man. I'll go and go outside and fuck shit up. Just at a fundamental level, I'll go and fuck shit up. Is I don't have anything to lose right now. Is the default mindset of single men who don't have a stake in that society because they don't have a wife, they don't have a family, and they don't really have a way to figure out how to improve their status. Anyways, guys, I need to eat right now. I don't know if I'll be able to come back, but yeah, I think at least we've figured this thing out. This is pretty convenient. So thank you guys for being in the first live stream. Aloha Snack Bar, Jai Gobi, Modi ji. I'll start training for that, Kabul Akhand Bharat mission. Just, wait, what's the solution? Solution is just to eliminate. No, solution is not to eliminate surplus males. Actually, civilization is supposed to be a Ponzi scheme, right? See, so the thing is, when a society keeps expanding, so you have at the bottom you have larger and larger cohorts, and you can keep the Ponzi scheme going on almost unlimited, right? And that always creates a surplus of young women. In fact, so you won't have that problem of surplus men ever if you like even follow like basic common sense. Obviously you'd need to make sure that you don't have some wild ideas of polygamy and polygyny being implemented. I'm not saying that it cannot be implemented at all, but you can't have like in many of these Mormon sects and all. What used to happen was that let's say there are 100 men in a colony, or 50 men, let's say, and the number of women is 60 or something. The top 10 men are hogging like 30 women or 40 women, right? So then that's not going to work. Then obviously, then some men will have to be kicked out, or they'll just leave the church. So you need to make sure that if polygyny is there, it's extremely regulated, or it's not there at all. Otherwise, then you can't work that system, that one man, one woman. And I think one man, one woman, that is an essential foundation of civilization. That's one of the biggest reasons Europe was able to conquer the world. So, anyways, guys, stay in touch. Please enjoy and work hard on your life, guys. Don't waste too much time on all this crap. Self interest. Everything is about self interest, right? So yeah, fucking meet your self interest. I know that sound a bit like weird, but if you look at the Telegram link, you'll be able to understand. In the Telegram, it's I think one of the last few messages. I love Israel. Netanyahu, Bibi. I don't know what the new guy's name is. Hindu, Hebrew, bye bye. Okay, bye guys.